Hello, you all. Welcome to Disrupt the Drift. I am Baron Baptiste. I'm here with David Masters. David, welcome.
Great to be here,
And
Baron.
yeah, welcome to all you listening. And if you're dealing with stress, we're going to talk about stress today. And I think stress is at the root of most people's problems. David, you were sharing with me some statistics, and one that just jumped out is that 2,000 people a day die from heart attacks in the US. 2,000 people a day from heart attacks. Now, you could say it's diet and it's exercise and yada, yada. And those are factors. But I say the underlying root is stress. What do you see about it?
Absolutely, it's stress. And there's all kinds of stress that leads to other problems. So it's an octopus. There's just all these tentacles that extend from that one idea of stress. What is stress anyway?
Yeah, what is it?
That's a good question, because I think it was William Prescott that said, without temptation, you have no claim to virtue. But what if with each little problem that comes along, and I just looked up the word temptation, it says the act of tempting, or the condition of being tempted to do what? Tempted to do something you probably shouldn't do. So there's your problem right there in a nutshell, is that there
It's
are
like
all these
you're
things.
being tested, you're being tempted, you're given an opportunity in each moment to handle things the right way. And the right way for your own state of mind and being. If you're overreacting, you're adding story, adding emotion, adding blame, fault, all the things that get added to these difficult or challenging moments. And how much of it is just being made up in people's heads? All of it. Because things are just there to be dealt with in the right way. Or if you deal with them in the wrong way, it starts accumulating like stress into a bigger body of stress that you carry in your body, and the body keeps score.
Look, I'm just looking at the pseudonyms for stress: allurement, appeal, attractiveness, bait, blandishment, coaxing, the come on, a decoy, a draw, enticement, a fascination, hankering. How many people have hankering? Food is a big one right there, right?
What is hankering? What does that word mean?
To hanker is to almost be driven to something, like, oh, I've got to have it. Have you ever seen people that get excited when they go and they have some dessert, or they get totally impulsive?
Your impulses own you. Yeah. Or you're resisting and wrestling, grappling with your impulses.
Yeah,
That's
here's
hankering.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Provocation. How many times have you been provoked by people? The cancel culture, right? Seduction, tantalization. Anyway, it goes on. There's so many pseudonyms for the word, but
yeah.
See, it is an octopus, and it's got tentacles, and each one of those tentacles can wrap around you, and then you can be engulfed by tentacles of temptation. And then the problem, when you give in to the various things, it creates a domino effect of other extensions, right?
You're carrying all that energy around, all that reactive, upset energy in your body, in your mind, in your being, and it builds up. It accumulates.
And the way you deal with it sets in motion other domino effects. And so a lot of the problems that we have in terms of our health and our well-being are these compensatory things that we do. And for example, when the average person is working a 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, and they're dealing with the general public, people are pretty nasty. And I can see how guys especially want to get off work and go to the bar and just have a beer and decompress from all of this nonsense that they have to deal with. Then that becomes a problem in and of itself. The way that we deal with it, the decompression of it, whether it's smoking or vaping or the food that we go to or the people that we want to hang around with, that becomes its own set of problems. So each way that we compensate in the wrong way creates a whole nother set of problems, until at one point it all builds up. Boom, you get a heart attack.
You're walking and if you abuse your heart with energy, the wrong kind of energy, it's an abuse of your heart.
Here's another one,
and it's abuse of your mind. Your spiritual heart and your physical heart, I think, is what you're pointing to. But it's this energy intensifies, right? It's lots of little things that build up, lots of little wrong reactions, overreactions to lots of little things. And then some bigger things come along and you're just the jack in the box. You're an upset waiting to happen, but that upset energy is building up. It's crystallizing. It's accumulating within your system.
See, and so let's just talk about one of the most obvious kinds of bad reactions. It is bad. That word anger, aka resentment. So I looked up the synonyms for the word anger. Animosity. So you walk around with a chip on your shoulder. Animus, where you literally live in this animal state where you feel like people are watching you. It creates paranoia. Annoyance. How many things annoy you? How many times have you thought about that person is totally annoying? Bitterness,
you're an upset waiting to happen. Basically, just press the button and there it is. Press your button, anything, and you're just a volcano waiting to go off.
But for each one of these synonyms of the word anger, resentment, there is a set of tentacles that can wrap around you. And of course, what we're talking about the problem, but obviously there is a solution, and that is learning to be objective. Now, when you're objective, and we talk a lot about this, but I don't think people realize the power of a state of mind, right? When you're objective, it is the polar opposite of being in a subjective state. So animosity, animus, annoyance, bitterness, cynicism, displeasure, exasperation, fury, grudge, ill will, indignation, irritation, malice, outrage, passion, rage, rancor. These are all little octopuses that are waiting to wrap around you. Now, if you're objective, you simply step back out of it and you're not in the cage of any of these things, even though they're there and they're pulling at you. And there's that word temptation. They're tempting you to react in a bad way. And there's 10,000 ways you can react in a bad way. But at the same time, if you acquire an attitude of learning to step back and, as the Bible says, be still and know that God is right there, the source that can rescue you from these conditions is right there in the now moment. And this is the other part. You get pulled out of the now moment and you go down into the quicksand of each one of these words that I just described to you has a condition attached to it.
Something happens, you get a thought about that, and you start interacting with your thought about that, and you go down that dark rabbit hole into storyland, into not good places. When I was younger, what I want to point to here is taking things personally, because when you speak to like subjective in contrast to being objective in life, and when I was younger, things would happen, people would do things, or people would gossip about me or betray or what have you, and I used to take it so personally. But I realized it was all inside of my POV, my point of view, and it was all somehow about me, myself, and I. And then it would be an assault on me, an insult on me, or I'd feel shame or embarrassment, or I'd have to defend myself or explain myself, all these things. Now I see, I had a kind of a transformation where it went from taking everything personally to now when I get those kind of things happening in life, and life happens, people come at you or they attack you or they gossip about you or they lie about you or things just don't go the way you want. But it's the transformation I had is now I'm grateful. I see whatever is coming at me is a teacher. It's an opportunity to actually grow and it becomes a measure to my own center. So when something's happening and I can just see, I just let it roll by. Or if I see my feathers starting to get a little ruffled, I can just step back, watch, and no, wait, there's something here. It's a barometer. It's a measure. These stimuluses from the external world, from others to myself, become a measure of I've got nothing about it. They can say whatever they want. They can do. And if there's some truth there, if it's with someone I know or someone in my life and there's something to handle there or something I did that I wasn't intending to do and it landed on that person in the wrong way, I can just go clean it up and go, hey, sorry, I didn't intend to have things go, but I just clean it up. Or there's nothing to do. It's like things happen or people, or especially like on social media, people push at you. They pour salt on you. They pour salt on your name, different things. It's so what? But really, so what? It's just life. And in 10 years or 10 years after we're dead, none of it's going to mean anything.
That's true.
In this life. There's this life, there's the ever present now. Heaven is here now, or so is hell here now. And it's having faith more than, to me, what I've come to also in relationship to stress, I'm not so concerned in having faith in myself. It's more faith in who I can become. And so every opportunity to become a bigger, greater version of myself, from my creator to my conscience, and live true, live right as best as I can, is an opportunity to grow into who I wasn't and who I could be now becomes who I am. Yeah.
Perfect case in point for you. We have a next door neighbor who's a wackadoodle.
We all have at least one neighbor that's a wackadoodle.
This person is a definite wackadoodle. And she came over the other day because my wife had asked her nanny not to park in our space. But she didn't even tell her what to do. She says, "Would you mind parking across the street?" This neighbor storms over and she starts verbally abusing my wife. I wasn't here at the time, but when she was verbally abusing my wife, asking her if she's an adult, and it was a weird exchange. My wife basically stood there and looked at her and said nothing because she was set aside by the way she was dealing with it.
It was like watching a movie, a B movie.
Exactly, but
like detached, right?
I said to my wife, yeah, she was totally detached. And I said to her after the fact, I said, "It's a good thing you didn't say anything. Let's think about how to deal with this." And what occurred to me is the perfect way to deal with it next time, which is, and when somebody is assaulting you, I want people just to think about how powerful this is. Rather than get upset and be defensive and go back at them and try to figure out what names they can call them and just unloading on them, you step back for a minute and you say to them, "Thank you." And they'll say, "What do you mean?" "For showing me who you really are." And that's the end of it. You win right there. It's over. You won.
And that's you give nothing to it. No extra. Don't give your energy away. Nothing extra. Nothing added.
There it is.
But you see the person who they are, right?
You see them. They reveal to you what's really inside there.
Yeah. I was dealing with someone who works for me, but like I have a house, one of my houses, and they manage the house. And the person was really upset. They weren't upset at me. They were upset at another person they work for. So when I met this person at my house, and she was just upset and venting, but I realized something. This is just a few weeks ago, but I realized it's also, I just needed to listen in that moment because there was nothing, when people are upset and they're just vomiting, releasing out towards you, there's really nothing to say because they're on such an outflow of they're getting all this energy out, whether it's directed toward you or something in their life. When people are upset, they can't hear. They just can't hear. So you're speaking. What did Jesus say? Don't throw pearl before swine. It's like there's a time to just let people vent. And to your point, when people are venting, you actually get to see who they are. And it's good, just mental note, because when people are going off with you about someone else, you just need to know that they'll do that about you if things go awry. Because people who do that, people who talk about others around you, gossip about others, or trying to take others out or get you into their conspiracy to take someone else out. If they're doing that about others, that's how they're wired up. And it's just a matter of time before they'll come for you. So my point in saying that is when you really watch, I think it was what was that baseball player who coined all these like cool little isms, wisdoms, super simple, but he said you learn a lot by watching. You observe a lot by watching. So there's also wisdom in just watching And when you're standing in your center, the ground of your being, you're watching, and there's nothing to resist. There's nothing you have to do, nothing to fix, nothing to figure out. Now, there may be in a moment when that person calms down, then there may be something to say, some wisdom, or like in the case of your wife, I think I love that advice, actually. Just simply say, thank you for letting me see who you are. It could be that, or it could be the person they just are asleep. They're not aware. They're checked out, and they're just living their life that way. And it may be in that moment when things settle down, there may be an opportunity for you to actually just give some wisdom. And then other times there's nothing to say. There's nothing
this woman,
to do.
I'm just reminded of one of the things she started threatening, because this is a place we've been parking for 25 years, right out in front of our house.
It's not a new thing.
No.
It's not like you changed the game.
She starts threatening by saying, I'm even going to park my car there to make a point. Really? So you got a garage, but you're going to park your car in front of her? So she tried everything to push the buttons. And guess what? There's another word that comes to mind, and that is commiserate. People who are miserable, they want to share that misery. They want to spread it around. They want to take it. And it's the hot potato that I talk about. But if somebody's got a hot potato or a burning coal and it's in their hands and they're trying to give it to you and you don't take it, who has it? They do. The other thing that was interesting is that because it happened at our front porch, our Ring doorbell camera caught the whole thing. And all of a sudden, she looked at the doorbell and she realized everything that she said was caught on camera.
That is the world we live in, man.
And she started feeling
captured
like
on
a
camera.
Crazy person. It's just that reflection back to them. It's like the invisible shield that you put up between you and the crazy that doesn't get in you. That's the whole idea.
Yeah. Very good. I think this is a good place to wrap up.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. You all, thank you for listening. Get present. Find your feet, find your eyes, keep waking up to yourself. The unexamined life is not worth living. Just keep waking up to yourself. Notice your reactions. Certain people trigger you more than others. Often it's family, a mom, a dad, a sibling, people, coworkers, people closest to you is the place to start getting some mastery over your own mind and being. Share the show, will you? If you got something, thank you for listening this far and watching. We're on YouTube. We drop 2 episodes a week on YouTube at Disrupt the Drift. We're also on all the audio platforms. Please share the show. We grow the show through you sharing it. Until next time, stay blessed, stay true, keep disrupting the drift in all aspects of your mind, body, and life. And peace be with you.